Anne Arundel County, it's Dan the Pub Ed Man back again with another safety video. What I'd like to talk about today is something that causes around 45,000 home fires a year and $1.3 billion in damages according to the U.S. Fire Administration. And what that is electrical fires. Now, a vast majority of electrical fires are caused by either lighting or improper wiring or some kind of wire malfunction in your home. And now, so things you can do to mitigate that is, what I want you to do is check your power outlets, make sure they're safe, make sure they're stable. There's a firm plug-in. If you have any loose connections, that's something you might want to get looked at by an electrician. But the other things is something that we use every day, you probably don't think about. You might even have one that's older than your kids, or 10 or 15 years old. And what those things are power strips and extension cords. So there's all kinds of different surge protectors or power strips or extension cords, and they come in different ratings for indoor and outdoor use. Of course, if you have an indoor cord and it says be used indoors, you shouldn't use it outside. Now, outdoor cords, you can use them for inside. They're a little sturdier, a little more heavy duty. But really, what gives you wear and tear on these cords is not the electricity flowing through them, it's the physical use and stepping on them, moving them around, and all that kind of stuff that can wear out the insulation. Now, just to give you an example, right here is one of the more heavy-duty outside cords you can buy. You never want to use a cord over 100 feet, and you also don't want to plug multiple extension cords into each other. That just gives you more points of failure. But all extension cords have these wrappers right here by one of the plugs. They give you what they're rated for and whether it's good for indoor or outdoor use. There's normally a little stamp. Now, when I say rated for use, that's how much power you can put into them. For stuff with a heavy draw like your refrigerator, a coffee maker, a heater, your washer dryer, any kind of appliance or anything that produces heat when you use it, you would absolutely not want to use with an extension cord. You want to plug that directly into your wall outlet. If you can't plug it directly into your wall outlet, we really recommend you get an electrician in there to install another outlet for you to use. Now, one of these, it's good, you can plug like a power drill or some kind of heavy duty power tool into it, but you wouldn't want to plug one of these into one of these, which is a power strip. Now, if you have an extension cord, then plug this and plug 6 or 7 power tools into this, you're probably going to blow your breaker, which is a great way of your house saying you're using too much electricity off of one outlet. Now, these are obviously mostly meant for indoor use. They're not normally rated for outdoors. They have a bunch of plugs on them, but like I said, you do not want to plug anything that produces heat or has a really heavy electricity flow into one of these. You want to plug that directly into a wall outlet if at all possible. The things that really malfunction, like I said, is not the electricity per se, but it's the bending. It's that you should never have this in a place where there's a door over it or a rug or anything that you can step on, because that's going to wear down this insulation here on the cord. And when the insulation wears down, that's where you get malfunctions and sparks, and electrical fires can start. When you're unplugging these, you want to grab it here by the cord itself. You don't want to grab it by the wiring here. You don't want to grab and yank like this, because that causes the bearings and the connections here to get weaker and weaker every time you do. And obviously, the weaker they are, the more prone to failure they are. Now, there's not necessarily a date and a time where this is going to expire. If you have one of these and you just don't use it a lot, or you kind of set it there and there's not a lot of movement and you don't step on it, it's going to last longer than something you're rougher with, as with most things. Well, this is just something I'd really like you to take a look at. Just check out your cord, see if there's any cracks. If you can see metal, don't use them. If there's a weak spot or if they get hot. Definitely for anything electrical, if something gets hot that's not supposed to get hot, that's probably a problem, and you need to either take a look at it yourself or get an electrician in there to take a look at it for you. And like I said, these electrical fires cause about $1.3 billion in damages a year and 45,000 home fires across the United States. So really, I just hope you can take this information and hope you're a little bit better prepared and a little bit safer than before we started. Have a great day, Anne Arundel.
Changes to our climate mean our communities need to prepare for the health risks of higher temperatures. Extreme heat can lead to heat stroke, heat cramps, heat exhaustion, dehydration, and death. Anyone can be at risk, but some are more vulnerable, including pregnant women, people with heart or lung conditions, young children, older adults, athletes, and outdoor workers. So how do we prepare for extreme heat? Communities can establish cooling centers, plant trees to lower urban temperatures, and educate residents on ways to protect themselves and others, such as drinking plenty of water and checking on older relatives and neighbors.
You've made a plan to be more active, and you're ready to go outside and get started. But before you do, make sure you can exercise safely. Carry your ID with emergency contact information. Bring a small amount of cash and a cell phone with you, especially if you're exercising alone. Be seen to be safe. Wear light or brightly colored clothing during the day. Wear reflective material on your clothing and carry a flashlight at night. If possible, walk during daylight hours. Choose routes that are well used, well lit, and safe. Stay alert at all times. Don't talk on the phone. And if you're listening to music, keep the volume at a level so you can still hear bike bells and warnings from others coming up behind you. Always walk facing oncoming traffic. Walk on the sidewalk or path whenever possible. Look for a smooth, stable surface alongside the road. Cross the road at crosswalks or intersections. Pay attention to traffic signals. Never assume a driver sees you crossing the street. Try to make eye contact with drivers as they approach. Cross only when you have the pedestrian crossing signal. Look left, right, and left again before crossing the street. Make sure you have plenty of time to get across. For more information about exercising safely outdoors, visit www.goforlife.nia.nih.gov.